Welcome to part 2 of how to use syncopation for the modern drummer. Today we'll be working from page 38 with the goal to help you improve your independence and your groove. Let's get straight into it. I have created 3 different exercises based on this page, and within each exercise we are going to be using 3 different hi-hat patterns in order to help with our goal. Variation 1. We're going to be playing the bass and snare pattern as written, and what we're going to do is we're going to add the 3 hi-hat variations on top. I probably recommend just starting with the one playing through the whole page and then working through the second variation through the whole page, and then finally the third variation. Now the goal would probably be I would say just to be comfortable as best as you can to in playing all 3 variations so that you are able to switch between them whenever you feel like it. With this example, I will play all 3 hi-hat variations by changing the hi-hat pattern at the end of every 8th bar. Variation 2, or exercise 2 I should say. So what we're going to do now is we're going to swap the voices around. So we're going to play the bass drum pattern on the snare drum, and the snare drum pattern will be played on the bass drum. I'm going to play the hi-hat variations the same way I did in the first exercise, but do feel like change it up if you feel comfortable with it as well, because the idea at the end of the day is to make it your own, but you want to make sure that it's sounding solid and that everything is locking in with each other. All right, let's do it. All right, final variation. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to alternate the snare and bass drum patterns. So for example, if you start with the first 8th note on the snare, the second note, the quarter note, will be on the kick drum, and vice versa, and continually swapping it as you go. We're going to have the same idea with the hi-hat pattern throughout. And if this is a little bit challenging, it would be a good idea to perhaps drop the right hand out completely and then practice the snare and bass drum pattern with the metronome, perhaps at a slower speed, and then reintroduce the right hand as you go. So it's all about finding different methods and techniques so you can sort of build it up as you go over time and then improve it, as well as improving the tempo as well, because as you've noticed, all these 3 exercises have been played at the same speed, but it's definitely a really good idea not to get, this is one of my things that I do all the time, is that I get too comfortable in a certain tempo and then it gets stuck there. Sometimes I forget. So really important to practice slow tempos, your medium tempos and then your fast to improve that. So, because you never know what songs you're going to play one day, and yeah, I've had to really work at that. So, all right, let's do the last one. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, put the comments down below. I will attach a PDF for you on my Patreon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.